STS, Ingenuin and Albuin Church, Church, STS, Ingenuin and Albuin Church, Slovene, Cerkev SV Ingenuina in SV Albuina, is a Catholic church located in the village of Koroška Bela in the municipality of Jesenice in northwestern Slovenia. The church is dedicated to Saint Ingenuin and St. Albuin, bishops of Säben Abbey from the 6th and 10th centuries respectively. History. The predecessor of the current building was a Gothic church also dedicated to the two saints, as is the chapel of nearby Bled Castle, which dates from roughly the same time frame. Consecration was on 26 April 1361. The altar of St. Acacius Slovene SV Ac was dedicated the next year by John, Bishop of Urban and Papal Vicar General. Due to defilement of the church by Turkish raiders, the altar was reconsecrated on 2 October 1486 by Ljubljana Bishop Zita the Noble Lamberger. In 1584, during the Reformation, local Lutherans came into conflict with ecclesiastical authorities, some confrontations apparently taking place in the church. The Protestant minority was subsequently expelled from the area. In 1691, the church was granted special rights. By 1752, the building had grown dilapidated as well as too small, and a decision was reached to replace it with what would become the present church. Experts believe the architect was one Matajapersky. Collection of funds began immediately. Loans were extended by the churches at Bledska Dubrava, Risica, now part of Bled, and Kupljnik pod Bajam Zabam. In addition to popular contributions, the then parish church in Jesenice made a gift. The iron-working facilities in Javornik were unable to help due to their own difficulties. The old church was demolished in 1754. The year is marked on the keystone of the main portico. Construction took 7 years and was sufficiently far along that consecration was planned for the feast of St. Peter and St. Paul of 1761, when 2 days beforehand, on 27 June 1761, the entire village of 60 houses burned down, including the church. Reconstruction took 10 years. The new church was finally consecrated on 3 September 1771 by Ljubljana Bishop Johann Karl von Herberstein. In 1788, the church was granted greater privileges. Due to another disaster, a massive landslide in 1789, furnishing the new church had to be deferred. The only new element commissioned was the Baroque altar of St. Ac, kept fairly modest due to circumstances. Records describe it as a humble wooden structure with statues of the two patron saints in niches, and an oil painting of the saints before Lake Bled overhead. The side altar of the Virgin of the Rosary was the work of Ignacij Ara 1776, restored around 1867. The ceiling was decorated by an unknown artist in 1828, but required repairs by 1858, performed by painter Matej Zgornik. The 16-station way of the cross was the work of Alojzij Gotzel from Kranj. An organ was purchased from Kropa manufacturer Ignaciu Pan, but was due to poor quality replaced in 1893 by a Gorsic organ, still there today. In 1875, the Koroška Bela parish was established as a suffragan of Jesenice parish. St. Ingenuin and St. Albuin's became the parish church. Amid the effort to equip it properly, however, the church was struck by another calamity. On June 2, 1875, the building was struck by lightning, killing the priest Valentin Plemj and starting a fire which destroyed the bell tower and roof. The village spent several years making external repairs, then returned to the project of beautifying the interior. In 1903, the current altar painting was purchased, the work of the artist Kiestner from Tyrol. In 1906, the old and damaged wooden altar was replaced with a marble one carved by A. Ravsek of Ljubljana, and marble communion tables were added. In 1916, due to the need for raw materials for the war effort, Austro-Hungarian soldiers removed the bells. 1 year later, on August 14, 1917, The village and church were badly damaged and set alight by an Italian air raid. The extent of the devastation was such that it took 6 years to rebuild the bell tower and longer to fix the roof. Some of the repairs were temporary, with decades needed before a permanent fix. Other traces of damage were never fully addressed and are still evident. To date, the tower and roof have had to be rebuilt 4 times each. During the 1920s, the interior frescoes were repainted by Matage Sternin. The current bells were blessed on 16 November 1986, while the facade of the church was restored in 1990. The fifth consecration of the altar of St. Ack was on February 8, 1998. References ==